The Business News Headlines is brought to you by QMX Wealth Management, making more possible. Tourism earnings slide, Guyana cash grants, and Japan shakes markets with rate hike. Good evening and welcome to CBX Business News for Friday, December 19, 2025. I'm Rachelle Moncrief. Thanks for joining us. Coming up in the newscast locally, Hurricane Melissa sparks earnings challenges for tourism-linked companies. On the regional front, President Ali announces Guyanese $100,000 grants and a 5-year economic plan. And over on the global stage, Bank of Japan rate hike puts markets on edge. Stay tuned as we unpack these stories and more right after the break.
It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Feeling so good right now. Yeah, yeah. It's feeling so good right now. Don't never ever ever wanna calm down. Oh no, no. Yeah,
Me grew up and see my granny save her money under her mattress.
Exactly. Okay. Your grandmother house never burned down?
No, how you reach that, so? That was a one-off thing.
That could have happened to anybody. That's why you must put your money in a financial institution and protect it.
What if the bank crash?
Well, that's where JDIC comes in.
What you mean?
JDIC is a financial safety net which provides coverage for your money in case your financial institution fails.
Explain that to me.
All right, because of the JDIC deposit insurance scheme, once you put your money into a financial institution like a bank or building society, you can get coverage of up to a maximum of $1.2 million per deposit of your financial institution if it should fail. And for even more information, you can visit their new website at www.jdic.org, and you can follow the social media platforms for the latest information.
JDIC, protecting deposits for you and me.
I'm trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
I'm also trading stocks to achieve my financial goals.
Start a conversation with the Jamaica Stock Exchange.
Check jamstockx.com for information and a list of registered stockbrokers. You can also call the Jamaica Stock Exchange at 876-967-3271 for information on how to begin. I am achieving my financial goals.
I'm achieving my financial goals.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments. Welcome back to CBX Business News. We begin with the news of mounting pressure on Jamaica's tourism sector as the effects of Hurricane Melissa continue to ripple through the economy. In a notice to clients earlier this week, NCB Capital Markets says tourism-related companies listed on the Jamaica Stock Exchange are expected to face earnings challenges well into 2026 following Hurricane Melissa. The brokerage firm warned that the storm has made the outlook for the sector markedly more complex. Companies that had enjoyed strong performance this year are now expected to register downturns for several quarters. The Category 5 hurricane struck on October 28, dealing a heavy blow to Montego Bay, Jamaica's tourism hub, and causing billions of dollars in infrastructure damage. Tourism is a crucial economic driver, accounting for about 1/3 of GDP and employment. Prior to Melissa, Jamaica was on track to welcome 4.5 million visitors in 2025. However, the storm led to dozens of resort closures and a 73.4% drop in passenger traffic at Sangster International Airport in November. Companies impacted include Express Catering Limited, which recorded strong profits earlier this year but is now challenged by falling arrivals. Everything Fresh Jamaica Limited, which doubled earnings to 106.7 million Jamaican dollars, but now faces supply and tourism headwinds. And Caribbean Producers Limited, already experiencing a 25.8% year-to-date earnings decline. Even attractions like Dolphin Cove, facing US $300,000 in restoration costs, may see limited earnings growth despite full insurance coverage. NCB Capital did not issue buy or sell recommendations, cautioning that the timeline for recovery remains uncertain. Blue Power Group has unveiled a turnaround strategy aimed at restoring growth and profitability after setbacks from Hurricane Melissa and import duties on raw materials. Chairman Jeffrey Hall said the plan focuses on cutting costs, launching new products, and expanding distribution, with progress already underway. He projects improved results in the fourth quarter and the next financial year. The company's second quarter sales, ending October 2025, fell to 159 million Jamaican dollars, down from $235 million last year, while profits dropped to $14.8 million from $38.6 million. Year-to-date profits also declined 50% to 43.7 million Jamaican dollars, impacted by lost production days due to Hurricane Melissa and a 40% duty on imported soap raw materials, which reduced price competitiveness. Blue Power produces the Blue Power Cake laundry soap and bar soaps for personal care, with plans to expand into liquid soaps within 2 years. The company continues to push for CARICOM duty exemptions where regional supplies are insufficient, citing the importance for the long-term viability of bath and hotel soaps. Despite earnings pressure, the company's balance sheet remains strong, with cash and investments totaling 550 million Jamaican dollars and capital increasing to $1.8 billion. Its associated company, Lumber Depot Limited, also posted satisfactory results. And finally, in the local news, Things Jamaican has launched its 5 Reasons to Come Home This Christmas campaign, urging Jamaicans at home and abroad to support local brands during the holiday season. The government-backed brand and retail chain run by Jamaica Business Development Corporation, JBDC, is responsible for selling high-quality, locally made Jamaican crafts, art, and food. They created this initiative to highlight more than 500 authentic Jamaican products across food, fashion, crafts, and gifts to encourage support for small and medium-sized enterprises as the country rebuilds after Hurricane Melissa. JBDC officials say buying locally helps sustain entrepreneurs, preserve Jamaican creativity, and strengthen the economy, positioning Things Jamaican as a one-stop shop for meaningful locally made Christmas purchases. We move to the latest updates from the JSE equities. In Friday's trading session, the JSE market activity resulted in the trading of 102 stocks, of which 48 advanced, 33 declined, and 21 traded firm. Leading today's winners are Mayberry Jamaican Equities, Iron Rock Insurance Company, First Rock Real Estate Investments USD, and Palace Amusement Company. Leading today's losers are Caribbean Assurance Brokers, Jamaica Stock Exchange, NCB Financial Group, and Express Catering. Trading activity resulted in the following movements. The main index declined by 1,306.41 points or 0.41% to close at 313,492.87 points. The junior market index advanced by 11.52 points or 0.35% to close at 3,261.76 points.
The market education feature was brought to you by Caricris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
In today's market education feature, we'll be discussing customer satisfaction score. Customer satisfaction, CSAT, measures how well a business meets its customers' expectations through products, services, or interactions. Typically expressed as a score from a survey, CSAT reflects satisfaction at a specific point in time. As such, it does not provide a big picture of customer loyalty. However, it is useful for pinpointing strengths and weaknesses that businesses can work on. CSAT data is usually collected through surveys, often asking customers to rate their experiences on a scale, for example, 1 through 5. Surveys can be broad or very specific, such as evaluating the speed of order delivery, allowing businesses to pinpoint best practices or problem areas. Unlike Net Promoter Scores, NPS, there's no standard format for CSAT surveys, giving companies flexibility in what and how they measure.
The market education feature was brought to you by Caricris, Regional Ratings, Global Standards.
And that's it for the local news segment. Please stay with us. The regional news is up next.
The local news is brought to you by Derriman Trading, better from the start. Development Bank of Jamaica, facilitating economic growth and development. Caribbean flavors and fragrances, tease the senses, and Pulse Investments.
Welcome back. And now for the regional business news. President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, announced a series of economic initiatives in a nationwide broadcast earlier this week, including a 100,000 Guyanese dollars cash grant for citizens 18 years and older and monthly salaries of 50,000 Guyanese dollars for 10-day government workers starting in 2026.
Finally, we committed in our Manifesto 2025 to provide additional cash grants to individuals. In this regard, Budget 2026, which will be presented early in the new year, will make provision for a cash grant of $100,000 to be paid to every citizen in Guyana who is 18 years of age and older. And other cash grants will be paid during the course of the next 5 years.
Highlighting the importance of his initiatives, President Ali unveiled plans for tax-free development zones to boost employment and non-oil exports, financing to improve Amerindian homes, and up to 10 million Guyanese dollars in loans for SMEs through the Guyana Development Bank. The administration also plans to abolish net property tax and introduce flat taxes on double cab pickups.
For us, the people come first, always. It is a guiding principle. Putting people at the center of every decision that shapes the economic blueprint. I'm about to unveil every policy, every initiative, every program, every project flows from the simple yet profound question: how does this improve your lives, the citizens of Guyana? At every step, we ask, does this policy make life better? Does this program expand dignity and choice? Does this project impact positively on the community in which it is located?
That was Dr. Irfan Ali, President of Guyana. British Virgin Islands Premier Dr. Natalia Wheatley says most public servants will finally receive the bulk of their long outstanding salary increments before Christmas, with remaining balances to be paid in early 2026. The move follows years of pressure from public officers and unions over arrears that in some cases stretch back multiple performance cycles. While partial payments were previously issued, workers said the delays created financial strain and eroded morale. The government has since cited budget pressures and administrative hurdles for the prolonged backlog. Dr. Wheatley says the payout aligns with the holiday season and signaled that an additional community-focused government initiative will be announced shortly by the Minister of Communications and Works. And finally, excess liquidity in Trinidad and Tobago's banking system fell sharply from 6.6 billion TT dollars in May to 3.5 billion TT dollars in October 2025, despite a stable policy rate of 3.5%, as foreign exchange sales and open market operations outweighed fiscal injections. Interbank borrowing nearly doubled, while short-term rates rose 91-day Treasury bills to 2.66% and commercial lending to 6.72%. Private sector credit growth slowed to 7.1% year-on-year, with moderation across consumer, business, and mortgage lending. GDP showed mixed trends, contracting 2.1% in Q1 before rebounding in Q2, while inflation remained low at 0.4%. The central bank flagged tighter foreign exchange conditions and external risks, but maintained a neutral policy stance. It's now time for news from the Trinidad and Tobago Stock Exchange. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 29 securities, of which 4 advanced, 4 declined, and 21 traded firm. Leading today's winners are L.J. Williams, Ansa McCall, National Enterprises, and Massey Holdings. Leading today's losers are A.S. Bryden & Sons Holdings, Scotiabank Trinidad and Tobago, First Citizens Group Financial Holdings, and Republic Financial Holdings. Trading activity resulted in the following movements of the TTSE indices. The All-TNT Index declined by 0.17 points or 0.01% to close at 1,358.92. The Composite Index declined by 0.09 points or 0.01% to close at 940.54. The cross-listed index remained at 68.98. The SME index remained at 94.24. And we take a short break, but please do stay with us. The international news segment is up next.
If it were not for the Jamaica Stock Exchange listing, Phosphate Company Limited would not be where it's at today. I called them, they listened to my concerns and my fears, and they gave me the answers. All the fears I had about banks, about losing control, you are having them. And I tell you, they were dissipated when I spoke to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. This is one of the best decisions I have ever made in business. If you want to change the trajectory of your business and to grow, make that call today to the Jamaica Stock Exchange. You will be glad you did.
Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances Limited has been a part of Jamaica's manufacturing landscape for over 20 years. By crafting unique flavors and fragrances, we have become a part of your favorite household and food items such as beverages, ice cream, household cleaners, and much more. Known throughout the Caribbean for the highest quality, we continue to innovate with strong leadership, a dedicated team with integrity. We go the extra mile for our customers. Create the next taste sensation. Contact us at 876-9235-111 or visit our website, Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn pages.
Welcome back. In international news, global markets are reacting cautiously after the Bank of Japan, BOJ, raised interest rates by 25 basis points, taking borrowing costs to their highest level in more than 30 years. The decision marks a further shift away from Japan's long-standing ultra-loose monetary policy as the central bank moves to address persistent inflation pressures. Market reaction was mixed, with the yen strengthening briefly and investors weighing the impact of higher rates on growth and corporate earnings. Analysts warn the move could have global ripple effects, given Japan's role as a major source of low-cost capital for international markets. The Bank of Japan says future policy decisions will depend on economic data, signaling a cautious approach as investors adjust to a new era of higher rates in the world's third-largest economy. Still in international news, public transportation in Bolivia's largest cities, La Paz and Santa Cruz, ground to a halt Friday as workers struck against a 100% fuel price hike, driving up food and transport costs. Protests and market rushes spread as residents braced for further price increases. The government, led by President Rodrigo Paz, says the measure is necessary to stabilize the economy after 2 decades of leftist rule. Presidency Minister Jose Luis Lupo described it as ending a populist cycle and warned that while fair negotiations are delegated to mayors, fuel subsidies will not be restored. Bolivia's inflation is projected at 22% this year, with a fiscal deficit of 12.5% of GDP. Cutting fuel subsidies is expected to save $3 billion for investment. The administration also approved a 20% wage increase, preserved social bonuses, and secured a $550 million loan from the Andean Development Corporation, CAF, while U.S. business leaders have expressed support for the reform agenda. Over in the Asian Pacific, China has warned it will take strong measures to defend its sovereignty after the United States approved a record $11.1 billion arms package for Taiwan. Beijing accused Washington of encouraging Taiwan independence and demanded the sale be halted. The U.S., Taiwan's main weapons supplier, says it is required by law to help the island defend itself, hence the inclusion of HIMARS rocket systems in the new packages. Taiwan has since welcomed the support, saying it will boost security in the Taiwan Strait. However, China says they are prepared to intensify training and readiness to counter separatism and foreign interference. And following Thursday's stalemate, European Union EU leaders have reached a deal to borrow money to supply Ukraine with $105 billion in loans over the next 2 years. The move aims to steer clear of the divisive plan to tap frozen Russian assets and avert a major rift within the bloc over using Moscow's sovereign funds. EU leaders warned Ukraine would face a funding crisis by mid-2026 without new support, raising security risk for the bloc. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has since welcomed the deal as vital to his country's resilience. And that's it for the international segment of the newscast. The news recap is coming up on the other side of the break.
Introducing the Corporate Services Unit, your go-to experts for corporate secretarial solutions. We offer statutory compliance, efficient minute taking, registered office address services, management of board and members meetings, setup and maintenance of corporate registers. Stay ahead with our proactive approach to new regulations. We operate under the Trust and Corporate Service Provider, licensed to the JCSB Trustee Services Limited. We're here to simplify your corporate journey, no matter the size of your company. Contact the Corporate Service Unit today and let's streamline your compliance journey together, because your success is our business.
Caribbean Dreams, instant turmeric tea. What you put in is what you get out. What you put in is what you get out. Yeah. Build up your body, boost up your brain. Take on the world now. Say bye-bye pain. Caribbean Dreams, instant turmeric tea. Be good to you. Caribbean Dreams, instant turmeric tea. Distributed by Amalgamated Distributors Limited.
And now to recap our top stories. Locally, Hurricane Melissa sparks earnings challenges for tourism-linked companies. Regionally, President Irfan Ali announces Guyanese $100,000 grants and 5-year economic plan. And globally, Bank of Japan rate hike puts markets on edge. Those were the stories making today's CBX Evening News. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Rachelle Moncrief. Thanks for watching CBX, your region, your business, your source.